me put the support onto the surgical guide. But now there's a couple of issues with this, because we do not recommend having support within holes, because it's very difficult to remove them and later to polish them. So what can I do? I can now go to the manual support and remove and add support manually. How do I do this? I click on manual support, and now I can just click on those dots to remove them, so I don't have any dots within the holes. And this is of course a little bit of a time-consuming task, and we do have a solution for that, and I will get to this in just a moment, but I want to show you how to do it manually. I think up here I also have some in the holes. Let's remove all of that. Okay, nope, not okay. And this one. I think now we're good. And now I can turn it around. And what I see now, this red area is the area which is facing the build platform. So it's best to put support into those red areas. So I will put, because I removed so much support, I will add a little bit more support back. I don't want it to be too close to the hole or inside the hole, and just want to make sure that it prints nicely. How do I make sure that it prints nicely? After I've put all my support, I click on manual support, and you can see all the support that I have. And now I will make sure it prints nicely by using this slider. This slider will show us layer by layer how it's printed. And I want to make sure that no part of the application shows up flying in the air, meaning having no support where it's being printed. So now I slowly move up, and I can see that it's nicely growing all together. And there's support where I need it. Okay, perfect. So now I am happy with my application. Now, in theory, I would now go to the slice step. But here comes the point that I wanted to introduce, and this is our Alpha AI Premium version, because all the steps that I have done now, especially the support step, we can take away from the customer, and we can help them with AI. So let me show you what that means. Let's delete the support that we have. And let's put the application in a way that is not good for printing. Okay. Now, all the things that I just showed you for several minutes, if I have Alpha Premium AI, I can just look up here, search for my application. We are doing a surgical guide, so it's right here. Click on it. It will orientate the application the right way, will put the support the right way. There's no support in the holes. I have nothing to do. And not only do I have nothing to do, we guarantee you that if you print like this, the print will be a success. Because all of these settings, and we can ensure you if you print like this, the print will succeed. If you do it manually, there is a high chance that it succeeds, especially with more experience, you will get better. But especially for beginners, the AI tool is a big help. And of course, we have that for a lot of different things. So here, for example, you have a crown, which you put on top of a tooth. And I can just look at it. I don't know how I have to orientate it. I'm a complete beginner. I have no idea. So instead of having to learn all of this, I just can rely on our Alpha AI Premium software, click on crown, it orientates it, it puts the support, voila, I'm done. So a very nice tool to, one, be faster and to take some of all this knowledge that the customer needs to have and just give him a tool that he can help with, that it can help him with. We are constantly working on improving our AI tool. We are working on adding new applications because, of course, there are, for example, trays and other applications that are not here yet. We are working on them and will increase the things that we have. One more thing that is an Alpha AI feature that I want to mention is the export STL function. So if I don't have Alpha AI Premium, this button is grayed out and I can't use it. if I have Alpha I Premium, after I put all the support and everything, I can export it as STL and save it. I can export up to 50 STL files per month. So there is a restriction to it. It's not unlimited, but it's a lot. Usually people don't tell us that they need more than that. Why do I want to export as STL? Because different printers use different files for printing. And so with this, we make it possible that you use Alpha I also with different printers, not only with our printers. Our printers do not use STL files to print. And this is something I will explain now when we go to the slicing, the third step. For this, again, I want to use the surgical guide because it is just a more complex application, so it's more fun to go through with it than with something simple. So again, I just used the Alpha I version. It was very quick, and now I can go to the third step, the slicing. In the slicing step, you just see again if you have chosen the correct settings. I have, and it shows you again the layer thickness. I would like to print in standard. And then down here, I have the option of making duplicates. So if I want to print more than one, I can just select my application and say, okay, hey, I actually want to print 6 in total, so I want 5 duplicates. Please create them for me. Now what you see is I have one gray model and I have 5 blue models. What does this mean? It means that they are not nicely put onto the build platform. So currently, they could not print properly. How can I fix this? I can either move them manually, and the moment I move 2 applications on top of each other, they will turn red. So I can now just move them by hand easily until they all turn gray with no blue area. Or I can use our nesting function. For nesting, I can say how much space do I want between my applications. Currently, we have 2 millimeter. I can change this again with the arrows, and then I can just click on nesting, and the software will find a way to put all the applications on the build platform. Now, as you can see, it only put 4. It only put 4 onto the build platform because it didn't find a way of putting all 6. Now I can reduce the space in hopes that maybe I can find a way. There we go. Now it already can fit 5. I think 6 is a stretch, so let's stay with 5. And I delete this one. So now I have 5 applications that will be printed. Now we come to the printing step, getting the file from my software to my printer. For this, I have to click on Slice. After I click on Slice, I see all the things that I have selected. I see the printer I have selected, the resin, how much resin it will need to print, how many layers, and how much time it will need to print. And here I can show you again the impact of what happens when I change the layer thickness. If I go to finest, we will have a lot more layers, but the time will almost become double. So look again, time 154, 379 layers, standard 60 minutes, 189 layers. Now, in comparison, if I go to turbo, it reduces the time by half. I have much more layers. But again, the details will not be as good as with standard or finest. So this is the difference with the layer thickness. The next thing I can do is rename my file that I want to do. So this will just be a test print. Test print SG for surgical guide. And now I have 3 different ways to get the file to my printer. Let's start with the first one, the slice and add to queue. If I do this, the software will search for any printer that is in your network, in the same Wi-Fi network. I know the printer that is standing here has the IP address with the 41 at the end, so I can just choose this. Later, when we are in the printing process, I show you how to get the IP address of your printer. So I can just select the printer and say slice and add to queue. And now the software will slice the application, which means it will create the different layers it needs, show you how long it will take for that. The bigger your application, the longer it will, especially the higher your application, the longer it will take. It will then open, after it has done this, it will actually also create a new folder in the 3DP data, which is the folder of Alpha AI, with both an i3dp file and an IDF file. What are those two files? The i3dp file is our project file. This is the file that Alpha AI needs to work with. The IDF file is the actual printing file. This is the file that the printer needs to print. So to show you what this means, okay, so here you can see he has sent it to the printer, so the printer has now received the file. Later when we get to printing, we will move on from there.